because it is part of our life now. And it is dangerous to some, and there are real implications to that, and also implications on that side too. And it's not going to stop or slow down or go backwards from here.
Anyway, I found this vintage iPhone 20 in my mom's closet.
Whoa, no way!
She said that before microchips, they would use this to contact. Do you want to turn off our microchips and pretend like we were in the olden days? Let's do it. I was born in the wrong generation.
So to reach these cyborgs, we got to do a couple of things. And this is, again, is where I said, you're going to see some of this and you're going to be like, I knew that. Oh, I've been trying to do that for years. Cool. Help me. Like, we are all in this together, helping our key stakeholders work through how to make digital-first integrated marketing as table stakes in our programs. Because they're not thinking in marketing discipline channels. They don't live their lives in, They don't live their lives in day parts. They're just living, okay? And what that means is that we have the marketing team and the sales team and the PR team and the advertising team and the IT people, and we don't speak the same language because we're not incentivized the same way. And also, with the rise of ChatGPT and generative AI tools, it's not just us that have access to that. It's the consumers and it's our competitors, which means that we need to continue to be uniquely human, being observational about what drives humans. And that means we have to look for what others don't see. So I've seen this recently where we had some like team brainstorms and we have a lockdown pilot where we are able to use generative AI tools. And kind of everyone has the same ideas now because we all have access to the same tools. Again, it's kind of like spell check. And what that means is you just have to lean on your humanness and your life experience. And this is where like we're not giving it all to the robots. We're still human, just everyone has access to new technology now. Everyone has access to Photoshop, but the best art directors I know can do a lot better job than I can in Photoshop. Does that make sense? Okay, good, head nods, okay. I love this quote from Rick Rubin where he says, the ability to look root of creativity, to see past the ordinary and the mundane and get to what might otherwise be invisible. And I would apply this to our cyborgs as well. So what's that digital-first approach that we're going to take? Well, the first, the digital-first consumers deserve digital-first strategies. So even offline tactics, it's a given that the digital things need to be digital. Even offline, even you guys sitting here right now, are shedding data, you are creating content and sharing data, and then after we leave, especially if you have Facebook on your phone, together now, we're all going to share a whole bunch of ad pools. Isn't that fun? Algorithms get a terrible rap. Oh, fucking algorithm. I remember when it was a fire hose and I could follow people and I'd actually see them. Right? We're so mad at algorithms. And also, they are complicated. And they do create unfair bubbles. And they have created some unforeseen challenges. And also, algorithms are taught and reinforced by human behavior and human data. So you can approach an algorithm wearing your marketing hat, signals of what people want to click on and what they want to share, and you can anticipate them and leverage them. You can think about like the afternoon of Christmas Day. What are the majority of Americans going to be doing? They're going to be sitting on a couch somewhere, looking at their phone. How could we anticipate that? What would they click on? What would they want to share with their family? What YouTube video would they want to show? Probably a Google log fax machine. And not forgetting that this is a game. Also, as we approach our cyborg audiences with digital-first strategies, it means that we can't compete with the news anymore. And there's no question that we don't have a monoculture anymore. It's not all tuning into the same evening news. We're not all following the same stories of playing that around the water cooler that died a decade plus ago. Those times of like, well, it'll be a slower news cycle after the new year. You know, like, well, let's just wait a couple, it's a really busy news week, you know. Well, our competitors did blank. And the truth is, you have to approach your ideas and your campaigns as becoming the headlines that everyone wants to share and everyone wants to talk about. We can't wait for a quiet time. We can't compete with the news week. Now, it's going to be 2025. We're going to talk about a couple technologies that are pretty ancient. And the first two are your website and your social media channels, which are the right and the left hand of all of your marketing communication programs. Where if you don't have access to your website, or your social team lives on an island, or if you are the social team on the island, I see my people, you are part of that Marketing 360 ecosystem, whether the other stakeholders give a shit or not. You have to be in those conversations, and your programs should be driving traffic and eyeballs and engagement through social and to websites and then coordinating together. You guys tracking with that? Easier said than done. My rule of thumb is it takes 7 meetings to get. So, hey, we have this really cool idea. We have a B2B launch. We want to make this really cool merch. We want to do a limited time drop of them on a website. We're going to mail some to some trade media reporters. Cool. We don't run the website. All right, well, we need to set up a meeting. Well, they said no. Okay, I need to do another meeting with that person's boss. Now we do the meeting with that person. And they're like, well, it's not going to work because of this. And so then we go meet with that person. And then we try something else, and we try something else, and we try something else. And now you've done 7 meetings, and you have a pilot, and you have something built on a website, or you're going to build your own. And then afterwards, you're like, well, that would have been better in a website. And you're like, great idea. We should try that next time. It's a giant pain in the ass. Getting everyone on the same page is our job. If our audiences are cyborgs, we must approach our website and our social as a right and left hand. You have to have those meetings. You have to keep that end user in mind, thinking they're not thinking in channels, they're not thinking in day parts, they're think about where this goes. Also, social gets a terrible rap because we report out on stuff like engagement rate that isn't actually attributable to sales or brand lift or awareness. The website is how we can do that because we own the website. We can cookie people when they come there. We can remarket to them. We can track them into our CRM program. Let's talk about the next one. Email! In 2020, Michael and Jen invited me to present at Social Media Breakfast in March of 2020. And I did WTF Social Media in 2020. Any of you guys there? Anybody here? Okay, how many of you? Oh, it was so fun. And we went all the way back to all this fun we had, like making Snowmageddon be a trending topic in Minneapolis. And then it like went national, and then the Weather Channel, Good Morning America, talking about Snowmageddon. Like, it's so much fun. And we're like, and I shared all this really exciting stuff that was coming. I shamed a bunch of people for not being on TikTok. And email is going to be really big. And I wish I could go back and convert my blog into my newsletter. And I wish I hadn't built such a huge Twitter account. I wish I had been like focusing on my email. And like everyone laughed. And here we are. Oh, and then the pandemic happened. And most of that deck got thrown away. So we'll see what happens with this. You guys can throw this away later if you want. Email will still be there. 53 years old. And it is a communications mechanism that you write something and caught in a spam filter, they will receive it. No algorithm, no payments, and also on the back end, you have a database of who the user is and the email address synced to their purchase history. Are they a known or lapsed user? What behavior are they doing when you send the email? Where are they going? Did they come from social? Did they come from a PR activation? Does the sales team know them? Email for Cyborg is huge. And iOS update, for those of you who got it this week, did you see how drastically your email box changed? It filtered out all those corporate emails into its own box. And that's trouble. Because change is constant. But if you build email into your program, even if you're a social person, you should be screaming up and down for email and how your programs are pushing to email. Next, if a brand does something and nobody shares it, did they do anything? Nope. And it seems very easy to say if it's not shareable, it didn't happen, but this again is the unique opportunity we have as humans working with cyborg audiences to think about the human side. What would they text? Look at what blank did, Brand did. Can you believe it? What would a morning show reporter, or like on drive time, what would Jason and